In under 2 years, I went from a 25K net worth to over 200K, all before I turned 23. In today's video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I did it using my Google Sheets finance tracker. I'll walk you through how I use my tracker to chart my net worth's explosive growth, annually beat the S&P 500 with the stocks that I invest in, as well as keep my expenses razor thin. Also, that I'm putting myself on a path to becoming more financially independent and wealthier. And before you think if I had any silver spoon in this process, not at all. This was all self-made, from summer jobs to selling a tech startup that I built during university, as well as making sure that my money works harder and smarter for me. So if you want to level up your money game and replicate these results, stick around, because I'm going to show you the entire playbook. Before we dive into a step-by-step tutorial, here's a quick rundown as to what's actually inside my tracker. You can track up to 13 accounts for your net worth with a clean and aesthetic chart that gives you a clear snapshot of your progress over time. You're able to monitor your brokerage performance, whether that's in a Roth IRA, a TFSA, or an ISA, or any other kind of account, as well as compare individual stock gains and losses against the S&P 500. If you share expenses with a partner, there's a built-in 50-50 split feature, so you always know who owes what. And if you want more visibility into your cash flow, the expense and income section breaks it all down by the month, so you're able to see exactly where your money is going. And a bonus for my fellow Canadians, you're able to track both Canadian dollar and US dollar accounts at the same time with ease. If you're not based in Canada, no worries. The tracker supports local currencies and is able to be fully flexible to support your needs. Teacher Nelson here. If you haven't watched part 1 yet of this video, I recommend starting there. We cover the setup, track your net worth, and why this tracker works so well for so many people. So if you haven't watched it yet, I'll see you there. I'll link it up above, or you could just head on over. And once you're done with that, come back here to watch part 2. Here in Canada, we have the TFSA, which is one of the most powerful financial tools available. It stands for Tax-Free Savings Account, which essentially means you can invest, earn capital gains, and never pay tax on any of those earnings. Other countries have a similar setup, like the Roth IRA in the US and the ISA in the UK, and the idea is the same across the board. Grow your investments, keep more of your gains, and dodge the tax headaches that come with a traditional investment account. This is why the brokerage page is easily one of the most important pages in my tracker. When you use a registered brokerage account like the TFSA, everything you earn, whether it's interest, dividends, or capital gains, stays tax-free, even when you sell or withdraw. This page is also fully optimized to support both Canadian dollars and US dollars in your TFSA, and if you're using a non-Canadian version of your tracker, no problem. It is designed to handle a single currency setup with the same features and tracking power as well. Setting up the brokerage page is simple. Start by entering your contribution limit and sell E3, and then add total cash contributions you made to your brokerage account in the sections provided. Next, log each of your equity or bond positions by entering the date you entered the position, the stock ticker, the number of shares, and the book price as well, which is how much you pay for all of these shares. You can then also include any remaining cash that sits in your account here. Once that's all in, the tracker does the rest for you. It automatically calculates the total market value today, your overall growth, how you stack up against the S&P 500, as well within your brokerage account. My tracker gives you a clear snapshot of whether your investments are on track to beat the market, or if it's time to reassess your strategy and pivot. Another killer feature of the brokerage page that I personally love and I built in is how it compares your portfolio performance to the S&P 500. Since the S&P 500 is a tracker of the top 500 companies in the US, it's really considered a gold standard benchmark, and beating it is a big deal. It means that your investment strategy is performing one of the most competitive and established markets out there, the US. And so set up your brokerage page, make sure you're tracking your progress with the S&P 500, and see if you're making good decisions. As you could see here, since I opened up my TFSA 4 years ago, I'm up around 40%, which has significantly outpaced the S&P 500 over the same time. Over time, that performance has translated into thousands of dollars more than I would have earned if I simply parked my money in an index index fund that tracks the S&P 500 or another broad market ETF. And if you take a closer look at my holdings, you'll notice that I'm not making any wild or speculative bets within my brokerage account. My portfolio is balanced in a way that reflects my personal understanding of each of the companies within it, as well as the market. And for me, that has been a thoughtful strategy that has helped me consistently outperform the market. This brokerage page isn't just about bragging rights, it's having a clear, honest view as to how well your investment strategies are actually performing. If you're beating the market, especially the S&P 500, that's a green light to double down on what you're doing because it's working. And if you're falling behind, maybe that's your cue to reassess, to pivot, and to redetermine what that strategy is that is best for you and your risk tolerance. This is exactly how my finance tracker keeps you locked in. You're always able to be on top of your numbers, always aware about your performance, and you're always one step closer to building serious wealth for yourself. Now, if you own stocks outside of your registered brokerage account, whether that's in a non-registered investment account, you're able to use my stock tracker page because that has you completely covered as well. This page allows you to log every single stock purchase and sale that you've made, including the date of the sale, the quantity, the stock ticker, and the total cost. And from there, the tracker pulls in real-time market data from Global Finance, so you're able to see your unrealized gains or losses on open positions, as well as your realized gains on things that you have sold. And here's the best part, just like the brokerage account, your returns are automatically compared to the S&P 500, starting from the exact day you bought that stock. That way you always have a clear benchmark to know how well your performance stacks up to the world's best index. So if you want to become truly wealthy and not just passively grow your money, you need to know exactly which decisions are delivering the best results for you. This is where the stock tracker shines. It gives you all that clarity that you need, and it makes tracking your stock performance completely effortless. So how do you use it? It's really simple. Just enter the dates you bought or sold each stock, the account you use, and the stock ticker. Then input the number of shares and the book price, which is how much you paid for all these shares, into the tracker. If you're logging a sale, make sure to also enter the sale price. From there, the tracker takes care of everything for you. It calculates the total market value of your current position, how much the S&P 500 has grown or shrunk since you bought the stock, your stock's total growth, as well as we annualize the growth rate of your stock, and you're able to see how much it is growing on a year-on-year basis. Lastly, as well, if you sold any of your stocks, we also showcase to you the realized dollar growth as well as realized percentage growth. All this heavy lifting, calculations, currency conversions, performance metrics happens behind the scenes, so once you enter a trade and position, you'll know exactly how well or poorly that decision has been panning out over time with the stock tracker page. When I started using the stock tracker, that was when I realized that I had a pretty strong knack for identifying the right price points for companies that I'm intimately familiar with. So take SoFi, for example. I saw that the market was undervaluing it at the start of 2024. It was sitting around $7.50, and I had a strong hunch that it would climb to around $12 within a year just due to its financials and the way that it's been growing its market position. And then when Donald Trump took office and the market went on a tear, I anticipated that SoFi's price would far overshoot its fair value, and surely when it hit $16 to $18, I sold off my shares over the course of a few days and netted, as you could see, 140% gains within a year. So with over 70% of my portfolio now in cash, I'm sitting tight waiting for the next wave of market fear so I could jump back in when the stocks that I love and the companies that I really respect are on sale. With my stock tracker, I'm able to understand all these things about my performance and as such make better financial decisions in the long run. If you're serious about going from just doing okay to doing financially great, you should take action now. You're able to grab my 2025 finance tracker on my Shopify store, and the link is in the description. It's an instant download, and within minutes, you'll have my exact system that has skyrocketed my net worth to far beyond what most people achieve in their mid-40s. So close your eyes and picture your life a year from now, where you're beating your net worth records month over month consistently. Picture yourself bragging at a dinner party how you've been consistently outperforming the S&P 500 because you're making smarter smarter financial decisions. This tracker has turned my financial dreams into a reality, and I know it can do the same for you. So what are you waiting for? This is your chance to take your dreams and make it into a reality. I can't help you make more money at your job or try to sell you some side hustle course, but with this tracker, I'm able to help you make your money work harder for you and to keep your expenses low so that you could get to where you want to be as quickly as possible. Go check it out now, and if you're interested in future financial videos from me, feel free to subscribe. That way you're notified when I release a new video. I'm going to make videos about how to invest better, how to really know where your money is going, different options considering your risk tolerance when it comes to the market, and how at a young age you're able to really set yourself up for financial success. So if you're interested in any of those things, feel free to subscribe. And with that, I'll see you next time. Cheers!